Let me open with something you're not going to hear on most Orange County relocation channels. Right now, some of the South Orange County communities that get recommended the most to relocating buyers, you know, like the newer master plan ones, the ones that people send you Zillow links to, are the exact places where this market has slowed down the hardest this summer. And most people planning to move here have no idea because they're looking at one number, and that's the Orange County median. If you're relocating here from the Bay Area, Texas, Seattle, and from the East Coast, the single biggest mistake you can make right now is assuming that Orange County is one market moving in one direction. It isn't, not even close. Right now, there's a city in South Orange County where the market is running at 60 days, and another city 15 minutes away is running at 162 days. Same county, same summer, same interest rate. So today, I'm gonna show you exactly where this market has slowed, where it hasn't, and what that means for you and what you should be actually offering, so you don't hand over your leverage on day one. If we haven't met yet, my name's Leland Pfannenstiel. I've been helping buyers move to and within Orange County for over 14 years, places like Mission Viejo, Irvine, Lake Forest, San Clemente, Tustin, City of Orange, and everywhere in between. If you're planning to move here, I put together a free Orange County relocation guide that covers pricing, neighborhood, schools, all the stuff that you'd want to know before you actually get here. Link is in the description. One quick note before we get into the numbers, everything I'm about to show you comes from the Stephen Thomas Reports on Housing, dated July in 2026. That's the most current data available as I'm filming this. If you're watching this a few months from now or in the future, these numbers have moved. Reach out and I'll pull you the current ones, no charge, no sales pitch, just an up-to-date data to help you on your search journey. All right, so let's start with the big picture. There's one number that matters more than the median price when you're trying to figure out how much leverage you have, and that's called the expected market time. All that means is, at the current buying pace, how many days would it take to sell every home on the market? It's really the speed of the market. Low number, sellers have control. High number, you do. To first give some general parameters, most economists say that 30 to 60 days on the market is a strong seller's market, 60 to 90 is a slight seller's market, 90 to 120 days is a balanced market, 120 to 150 is a slight buyer's market, and 150 days plus is a deep buyer's market. 2 weeks ago, Orange County was at 90 days. Today, it's at 102. That is the slowest reading since April of 2020, which of course was the COVID lockdown. If you take COVID out of it, it's the slowest Orange County has been since January of 2019. For some context, a year ago, it was actually 96 days, and the 3-year average before COVID was 80 days. So nothing too alarming, but nonetheless, we are seeing the market shift in certain areas, and here's how it got there. Inventory jumped 7% in the last 2 weeks, up to 5,020 homes, and demand, which is the pending sales over the prior month, dropped 6% to 1,472. That's the lowest mid-July demand reading since they started tracking this data in 2004. A big part of this is interest rates. Freddie Mac had the 30-year at 6.5%, the highest of the year, and matter of fact, as of recording this video, the average right now is 6.8%. Now, here are the two numbers that tell you what it actually feels like out there. 64% of every home for sale in Orange County right now has been sitting for at least 30 days. 41% have been sitting for more than 2 months. And from January through June, 3,669 sellers gave up and pulled their homes off the market. That's up 11% from last year. So what does this mean for you? It means seller competition in Orange County is the highest it's been in years, and you are walking into the strongest negotiating position a buyer has had here since probably before the pandemic. But, and this is the entire point of this video, the leverage is not distributed evenly. So let's look at a few city-by-city comparisons. Let's start with the cities where the countywide slowdown basically never showed up. Mission Viejo is at 60 days. A year ago, it was at 64. So while the county went from 96 to 102, Mission Viejo actually got slightly faster. Rancho Santa Margarita, 56 days. City of Orange, 75. Anaheim Hills, 45. Notice what those have in common. They're established, they're mostly detached homes, and most of them have no Millaroos. And they sit right in that price bracket where most buyers in this county can actually qualify. Now here's the part that surprised me. The coastal cities are actually holding up better than the inland new build communities. Dana Point is at 91 days. A year ago, it was at 103, so it is faster. And San Clemente is at 83. A year ago, it was 88, also a little faster. So the story isn't the coast is expensive, so the coast is dying. The coast is actually one of the more stable parts of this market year over year. So what do you do with this information? Well, if Mission Viejo, for example, is your target at 1.1 million, don't show up with a lowball strategy. That market did not get the memo about the slowdown. You gotta be pre-approved, decisive, and close to asking, assuming that they have other offers on the table. Now let's flip it, because this is the part that most people relocating here don't see coming. The slowdown in Orange County is showing up in two very specific buckets. Bucket number one is newer master plan communities, and these numbers are dramatic. Rancho Mission Viejo is at 162 days. 2 weeks ago, it was at 92, and a year ago, it was at 109. Ladera Ranch, 115 days. 2 weeks ago, it was at 68. Talega and San Clemente, 97 days. And I wanna be really clear about something. These are super beautiful communities. I help clients buy in all of them. This is not me telling you to avoid them, but here's the mechanic underneath it of what I'm saying. In some of these communities, you're not just paying a mortgage, you're stacking Melrose on top of it, plus an HOA and sometimes 2 HOAs. At 6.5% or 6.8%, that extra $800 to $1,200 a month is that difference between qualifying and not qualifying. So when affordability really tightens up, that buyer pool in these communities shrinks first, and it shrinks the fastest. Which also means if you can carry it, this could be where your negotiating room is. Bucket number two is condos and townhomes. Countywide, detached homes are at 96 days. Attached homes are at 112 days. But break it down by price and it gets wild. A detached home between 1 million and 1.5, 60 days. An attached home between 1 and 2 million, 144 days. Sit with that for a second. Same county, same month, similar price, 60 days versus 144. So what does that mean if you're a buyer, let's say at 1.1 million? It means you almost have no leverage on a detached home, and the real leverage is actually on a townhome. Those are two completely different negotiations at the same budget. And then there's the move-up bracket. Detached homes between 1 and 2 million at 101 days, 2 to 2.5 million, 120, 2.5 to 4 million, 143. So the higher you go above 1.5, the more time and the more room you have. Below that, in detached, you're usually competing. 2 cities I have to flag and a couple individual cities worth calling out. Aliso Viejo went from 81 days to 152 in 2 weeks. A year ago, it was at 78. So the market there has roughly doubled. And Lake Forest, a city that I actually really like, is at 121 days. A year ago, it was at 88. Part of this is the summer slowdown and what's happening with rates, but also at the same time, we are seeing a little bit of a real shift. So if you're buying a home this summer, you might actually have more room than you did last year. All right, let me hit the brakes for a second, because this is where I watch relocating buyers get it wrong. They hear the market is slowing and they think that means that you can lowball everything, or they see a price reduction on Zillow and they assume that they found a deal. That's not how it works. Here's the numbers that I believe can help you better approach this market. Orange County's sale to list price ratio in June was 99.9%, meaning that the homes that actually sold for essentially exactly what they were asking. And one of the 1,994 homes that closed in Orange County in June, half of them went pending in the first 2 weeks on the market. So this market isn't slow, it's actually split. Priced right, in good condition, updated, it usually flies in 2 weeks at asking. Overpriced, dated, or in a spot with a real problem, it can sit for 4 months and then comes off the market. Which means a house that's been sitting for 90 days usually isn't a bargain waiting for you. It's usually a home with something wrong. It's either the price, the condition, or the location. Your job is to figure out which one before you write an offer. If it's simply price or something you're willing to take on, those could be opportunities. There are 2 numbers in this report that sound like the same thing and they're not. Expected market time and median days on market of closed listings. Expected market time is a snapshot of the absorption rate. That's the number of days that it would take to sell all listings in a specific area, and that's a calculation using current active listings and the last 30 days of pending sales. Median days on market is what happened to the homes that actually closed. So watch what happens when you put those two side by side. Lake Forest expected market time, 121 days. But 81 homes that closed in Lake Forest in June, median days on market was 14 days at 100% of list price. Mission Viejo is 60 days expected market time, 92 closings, the median days on market was 21 days at 99% of list. Dana Point was 91 days expected, 33 closings, median days on market was 8 days. The 121 days is the average of everything sitting out there, and the 14 is what happened to the ones that people actually wanted. So if you're moving here from out of area and you read a headline that says Orange County is at 102 days, and you assume that you'll have weeks to think about a house, you're gonna probably lose the first 3 homes that you fall in love with. You need to know which pile a house belongs to before you write the offer, not after. And that comes down to that specific track, the price bracket, detached versus attached, whether that track carries Melrose, what's going on in the seller's head, etc., and all that stuff. Not the county average, not the city average. You need to know the street and the specific nuance of that specific home that you're curious about. So let me bring this all the way back around. Orange County is not crashing, prices haven't fallen, the county median in June was about 1.25 million, and homes are still closing at essentially full asking price. What changed is time. 102 days countywide, 64% of listings are sitting for a month or more, and 3,600 sellers who already gave up this year and decided to pull the plug on selling. It is wildly a little uneven. If you're buying a detached home in Orange County or under that 1.25 million, you're probably still competing, so be ready for that. If you're buying attached or above 1.5 million, or in a newer Melrose community here like Rancho Mission Viejo or Ladera Ranch, you have more room there than buyers have had in years. There's a difference between showing up with a strategy versus buying your next home based on a headline. Two things if this video was useful. First, grab my Orange County relocation guide. Link is in the description. It breaks down every city in Orange County side by side, prices, what's happening, built for people really making the move to this area from outside the area. Second, if you're about 6 to 12 months out from a move, let's talk. There's a link down there to grab a spot on my calendar. We can look at the current numbers for whatever cities you're considering, and I can tell you honestly where you have room, where you don't, and really what you should be going after. My name's Leland Pfannenstiel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.